No mandates, no mandates, no mandates.
Good morning, everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you for joining us for our monthly memorial service for February. We'd like to welcome all those who have joined us on Zoom also. We will begin this morning's service with mokuzo, or quiet meditation, followed by shomyo, which is the recitation of Namami Dautsu.
No mandates, no mandates, no mandates, no mandates, no mandates, no mandates, no mandates.
Sensei will now lead us in homage and three treasures, which are found on page 10 and 11 in your purple Seitan.
For those joining by Zoom, I'm going to bring it up on the screen for you. Should be able to see it on Zoom now. Okay. So we'll begin with the reading of homage and then three treasures. There is actually a very slight difference in the version that you have in your text, your purple text, and what's on the screen. I'm just bringing up the screen now, where it says, the third one, it says, we go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all live with one accord, live the life of harmony in the spirit of, in the book it says brotherhood, but we've changed it to oneness. It's trying to be a little bit more politically correct. That's what it is. So you just have to repeat after me after I read it. Okay. Homage. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we are hearing them. If we do not gain emancipation in the present life, we may not be free from sorrow in the ocean of births and deaths. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. Everyone? We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. Everyone? We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of kalpas, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us try to understand the Tathagata's teachings. We'll now read the same thing in Japanese. 日本語で3啓蒙いただきたいと思います。紫の聖典の10ページ目になっています。第3問、3啓蒙。人参受けがたし、今すでに行く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってどせずんば。さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。来週もろともに指針に参謀に帰依し立て祀るべし。自ら仏に帰依し立て祀る。まさに願わくは主情とともに大道を体現して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に帰依し立て祀る。まさに願わくは主情とともに各共造に入りて知恵海のごとくなら。自ら僧に帰依し立て祀る。まさに願わくは主情とともに大衆を通りして一切無限なら。無常人人未明の方は百千万号にも愛用ことかたし。我今検問し授事すること得たり。願わくは如来の真実義を下し立て祀らん。No one knows. No one knows.
We will now have the Gata Shinshu-shuka. Would everyone please stand and pay?
Turn to page 306.
Okay, and I'm just going to bring it up on the screen for those who are at home. Just give me 2 seconds, Genevieve.
Now lead us first in the Sambujo, which is found on page 89, followed by the chanty, the Sambutsuge, on page 73. During the chanting, I will be asking members of families to come up to burn incense. And we have one incense burner here, and so we may take a little longer. If you are coming up for the second time for another member of your family, please just do Oshoko. Thank you.
Shall I bring out the other incense burner?
Pardon me?
Shall I bring out the other incense burner? Yeah.
It's okay.
Thank you. Sorry. No mandops, no mandops, no mandops, no mandops, no mandops. please join me in reading the English translation, which you see at the bottom of your screen. We respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome Shakyamuni Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy.本日ここにうやうやしく三仏牽制の奨学を仰ぎ慎みてスティーブストン仏教会2023年度2月小月法要並びに涅槃会法要を言修す如来へ向の真実心をもって法恩の誠をいたし仏徳を三端したてまつる願わくは如来の大慈大悲心をもって無量の功徳一切衆生の上に栄光を下回らんことを南無帰依仏南無帰依法南無帰依僧 This morning we have gathered here in the quietude of Amida's temple to commemorate the February 2023 Shotsuki monthly memorial service in conjunction with the Nirvana Day service, in which we remember the passing of the historical Buddha Shakyamuni. We faithfully recite the Nembutsu and humbly join our hands in Gasho. May the fragrance of incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of the glory of the Dharma. And may the lights that burn brightly upon the altar lead our thoughts to Amida's eternal light of wisdom and boundless compassion that dispels the darkness of our ignorance.
신도 다이세 강아사문 다이조 간호조지 미흑에낫 의대조이 가인이조지 뇨세사마이 지혜이조 고세도급은 의교시가 이사이가 이사나야 계시음은 야그센 녹음아 무료나이쇼 신여거자 그여이사이 신어점은 은영은어 개조의약 인여거자 쇼브드세가이 무흑하게 무시세드노 고묘시쇼 헨시쇼거 뇨세조짐 이진양료 료가사붓 고그노나이 ngô 도조조셋 고그녀나요 님은어서 가도이미 도다스이사이 지모나이쇼 신내드조조 이동강은 계락은어 보무드시며 내가 신쇼 어드가 너희 리기조조역 지모세솜 지혜무게 조려시성 지가신여 계려신시 쇼그덕그즈 가요쇼 Sambutsuge, praises of Buddha. O thou eminent countenance and immeasurable light, whose dignity is limitless and incomparable, no other light can shine in thy presence. Even the brightness of the sun and moon and many jewels seem like a heap of coal before thy light. The countenance of the Tathagata is incomparable in this world. The voice of the Enlightened One is of infinite sound and reverberates throughout the 10 quarters. His morality, endeavors, meditation, wisdom, and virtue are of the highest and have no comparison in this world. The Tathagata deeply meditates on the Dharma of the Buddhas, which is as deep and as wide as the ocean. He fully understands its depth and breadth. Of ignorance, greed, and anger, the world honored one has none. The divine virtues of the man aligned Tathagata is immeasurable. The virtues of the Tathagata are innumerable and broad. His knowledge is deep. His majestic light illuminates the 1,000 worlds. I, Dharmakara Bodhisattva, after attaining Buddhahood and becoming master of the Dharma, may I deliver mankind from birth and death. Dana, sila, forbearance, effort, meditation, and wisdom shall be of the best. Becoming a Buddha, I shall realize this vow and give peace and tranquility to all who are full of fear. Even though there are hundreds, thousands of millions of Buddhas, countless as the sands of the Ganges, and even were I to pay homage to these Buddhas, it is better to seek the path and be firm and not retreat. The innumerable and countless worlds of the Buddhas, numbering the sands of the Ganges, shall be illuminated by my light. Thus my efforts and powers are immeasurable. When I become a Buddha, my land will be the first and the best. The inhabitants there shall be most superior, the teaching area the most excellent. My country will be like Nirvana and will be without equal. In my mercy I shall emancipate all. Beings come from the 10 quarters, and they will arrive with a pure and rejoicing heart. They shall know happiness and peace in my land. O Buddha, be my witness, this is my sincere feeling. I have made these vows and shall strive towards their fruition. The absolute wisdom of the honored one of the 10 quarters is unimpeded. May the honored one know my intent. Even though my body may undergo eternal suffering and pain, my efforts shall never cease, and I shall have no regret. Namandos. Namandos.
Machida Shiro, Ueda Masako, Wakita Saijiro, Yamamoto Karo Toyomi, Yasui Tsuyu, Yasui Yukioshi, Ezaki Shiro. Anyone who has a member who passed away other than here in Stevenson, if you like, you please come and do a shoko. Thank you, everyone. We will now have a Dharma talk by Ikuti Sensei.
Good morning, everyone. 皆さんおはようございます。Welcome to our February Shotsuki monthly memorial service in conjunction with our Nirvana Day service. And I'm going to, as most of you know, from December, we've been joining the English and Japanese service for the major services such as Shotsuki. Many of our senior members who have been coming out, I guess their body is attuned to 10:30 in the morning. So even though we were breaking it into English and Japanese before, they are coming out at 10:30. So we decided to do both combined for the Shotsuki and major services. So I'm going to say a few words in Japanese first, and then following that, give my talk in English. 皆さん、本日はようこそ、この2月の小月法要、また並びに、涅槃法要に、 皆さんようこそお参りしていただきました。この涅槃園法要というのは、約2500年前にですね、お釈迦様が入滅された日、亡くなられた時をご縁に、毎年2月に行われる法要でございます。大体、歴史上で言われているのは、2月の15日あたりと言われています。まあ、2月の満月の日、正式に言うとですね。だから、変わっていくわけなんです。でも、まあ大体、日本では2月15日って言われています。で、その時にですね、その前にですね、数ヶ月前に、お釈迦様がワイシャリーっていうところで説法をしてた時に、まあ自分の体の具合が悪くて、おそらくこの、あまり長くはないということを周りの弟子たちに言ったらしいんですね。そしてそのまま旅を続けて、今度は最終的にはクシナグラっていうところにたどり着いたわけなんですが、で、そこでですね、お釈迦さんが、静かに、サラソウジュという、木の、元でですね、林の中で亡くなられたと言われています。で、それがですね、そのお釈迦さんが亡くなられるときは、自分の頭を、弟子たちにですね、横になるために、頭を北に向けて、北にして、向いたのが西に向いた、西方向に向いたというんですね。だから日本ではよく言い伝えでは、北枕は良くないって言われてるんですね。こっから来るわけですね。お釈迦さんが亡くなった時に北枕だったから、あんまり縁起良くないと言われるんですが、まあそれは、とにかく、別に、あんまり深い意味がないですが、まあそういうふうに亡くなられたと言われます。そして最後にですね、お釈迦さんが弟子たちに言ったのが、この、虚しく私の死を悔やむなと言ったんですね。というのは、私たちはやっぱり、父母のもとに生まれ、そしてまた、食べ物によって栄養をいただくのと同時に、やはり自分の身っていうものは滅びてなくなるのが自然であると。でも、だからこそ、この私を、肉体を見る者は、本当の仏は見たではなく、法を見た者が本当の仏を見たっていうんですね。だからお釈迦さんが自分が亡くなった後、この法をですね、大事にしなさいと。仏法、教えを大事にしなさいと。そこでですね、お釈迦さんが有名な言葉で、法灯明、自灯明という言葉を言ったんです。法灯明というのは、この自分、の教えを自分の、光として、そしてまた、自ら自分を光となりなさいと。ね、法灯明、自灯明という、言葉を言ったわけなんですね。で、それからですね、まあ、いろんなお寺では、言い伝えがあるわけなんですが、大抵のお寺ではですね、ご本山、一番、そのお寺関係の一番トップの、お寺にはですね、どっかに、永遠と続く光があると言われて。だから、西本願寺、私たちは浄土真宗本願寺派ですが、京都の西本願寺に行くとですね、本堂の裏にですね、一つのランタンがあるわけなんです。で、その中の光っていうのは、ずっと、お釈迦さんの時代から、ずっと、まあ、たどり着いて、続けられて、本願寺まで、法の光としていただいているというふうな言い伝えがあるわけなんです。天台宗の比叡山行っても同じようにそのような、明かりがあるわけなんですね。で、これは、このお釈迦さんの見教えが永遠と続くと 私たちの、導きとなる教えが永遠と続くっていう意味があるわけなんです。ですから、この、涅槃会というのは亡くなられたお釈迦さんの忍ぶだけではなく、この亡くなったお釈迦さんが残していただいた教えを私たちが今も聞かせていただいているということをですね、その涅槃会を通して、聞くわけです。また、私たちがこの、小月法要というものに関しても、これは単なる、亡くなられた方々を忍ぶだけではなく、やはり亡くなった方々がご縁にですね、私たちがこの仏法に出会わさせていただく、大切なご縁であるからこそ、こうやってお参りさせていただいているわけなんですね。そして、やはり、浄土真宗では何よりも、このお釈迦さんが残された教えの中に、阿弥陀様の教えがあり、その阿弥陀様の働きによって、私たちも、お浄土に参らせていただく。そしてその感謝の心を持って、亡くなられたご縁のある方々と共にですね、感謝の心を持って念仏をお伝えさせていただくのが、この小月法要、また涅槃法要の大切な意義がそこにあるというわけでございます。最後になりますが、もう一度皆さんと一緒に合唱して、日本語の法話に返させていただきたいと思います。ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモ。Okay, if you fell asleep, please wake up. I'm going to give my talk in English now. This morning, we've gathered here for this February Shotsuki monthly memorial service in conjunction with what we call the Nirvana Day service. The Nirvana Day service is to commemorate the passing of the historical Buddha Shakyamuni. It was said approximately 2,500 years ago in the northern part of India, a place called Kushinagra is where the historical Buddha is said to pass away. And before he passed away, the Buddha gave his last talk, and I'm just going to read a passage from that. So if you can either place your hands together in gassho or just listen quietly. Water is round in a round receptacle and square in a square one. But water itself has no particular shape. People often forget this fact. My disciples, my end is approaching. Our parting is near, but do not lament. Life is ever changing. None can escape the dissolution of the body. This I am now to show by my own death, my body falling apart like a dilapidated cart. Do not vainly lament, but realize that nothing is permanent and learn from the emptiness of human life. Do not cherish the unworthy desire that the changeable might become unchanging. Following my passing, let my teachings be your guide and let yourself be the light. Those who only see the physical body do not see the true Buddha, for the true Buddha is in the Dharma. Upon my passing, let the teachings be your guide. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So as I mentioned, today we're here for the Shotsuki service, but along with it, we commemorate the passing of the historical Buddha. It was said in Japan, by Japanese calculations, they said it's sometime in February, on the full moon day in February, it was said that he passed away. They figured 2,500 years ago, it was probably somewhere around February 15th. And according to the teachings, it said that during his 80th year, the historical Buddha Shakyamuni was giving a series of talks in a place called Vaishali when he started to feel ill, and he knew his time was not long. And it's said that his entourage and he continued on the journey, and they ended up in a place called Kushinagra, and that's where they said that the Buddha passed away in just outside of Kushinagra at what we call a sala grove. Sala is a type of tree, so he passed away in a grove, and it said that he had his disciples lay his bedding so his head was to the north and he was facing the west, and he gently passed away. And if you go there today, there's a very large mound, a stupa, where parts of the relics of the Buddha is said to have been placed. Interesting enough, there's also a temple there, very large temple. And if you go in there, they have a statue of the Buddha reclining, lying down on his side. If you ever see statues of the Buddha, and if you see a Buddha that's lying down, you can say right away, that's a statue of the Buddha when he passed away. Okay. So there's usually three types of statues. One is the sitting Buddha, one is the standing Buddha, and one lying down. Okay. The sitting and the standing Buddhas represent various different Buddhas, but if you ever see one lying down, that's the Buddha when he was passing away. But interesting enough, if you go to this temple, they have the Buddha, very large, must be about the length of maybe almost the size of our hondo sideways. But the Buddha is lying down and is covered in this very large sheet. And you have to make a donation before they uncover the sheet. So the more donations you make, the longer you get to see the actual Buddha. But anyways, so as part of, when we gather here to remember the passing of the Buddha, it's not just to remember a historical event, but in fact, as the Buddha said, after his passing, let my teachings be your light and let yourself be the light. We gather here to remember or learn from the teachings of the Buddha. And I wanted to share with you, I gave a workshop, this is maybe 25 years ago. I was just doing some cleaning out of my office yesterday and I came across this. I thought, this is very interesting. I should share this with you. And the title was, Thus Have I Heard. Okay. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about this. If you read the Buddhist sutras or the texts of the Buddha, most of the texts, they all begin with, thus have I heard. And there's something similar to that nature. And the reason why this is made is because the texts themselves were not written by the Buddha. In fact, when the historical Buddha was alive, they didn't really have, paper like we have today or computers like we have today. So how the disciples learned was through rote memory. They would listen to the teachings of the Buddha and they would memorize those teachings. And so the disciples probably heard the same teaching over and over until it became a part of their being. And so after the Buddha passed away, for about 100 years, this is the way the teachings were taught, from master, from teacher to disciple. And they would memorize it. Okay? And that's why the sutras begin with, thus have I heard. Okay? Because it was the disciple saying, this is what I heard the Buddha talk about. So when we think about this, thus have I heard, in that very short phrase, the key word is heard. Listen, okay? And what I wanted to do is talk to you about three types of hearing. Okay? One is just hearing, one is listening, and one is what we call true listening. Okay? Does anybody know the difference between hearing and listening? So hearing is more of a placid, basically you have stimulus coming into your ear, okay? Listening, there's a little bit more of cognitive involvement, okay? So my wife always tells me, I never listen to what she said. I hear what she's saying, but I'm not listening to what she says, right? By the way that you're chuckling, I guess I'm not the only one that's been told that. So you see the difference there? Hearing is just the stimulus coming in. So I hear a lot of things coming in, but listening is when I actually take that and sort of digest it within myself, right? And that's why we say, I listen to music. We don't say, I hear music, right? We listen to it because we're actually doing some action with that. Speaking of complaining, or my wife complaining, so in Japanese, there's a phrase, usually when, and this is particular to wives and their husbands. If a wife says, "Uchi no danna wa," it means my husband, dot, 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 dot. Okay. But if you ever heard anybody complaining this, or if you ever speak Japanese, and don't ever use this if you're a wife to complain, because so danna is a word for husband in Japanese right now. And usually when the wives are saying, "Uchi no my husband, dot, dot, dot," it's used in a negative term, right? Uchi no danna wa, whatever they're complaining about, right? However, this danna, husband, in Japanese, actually comes from the Sanskrit root word dana, which means giving. And in fact, the root of this word, danna, was that in Japan, used to be hundreds of years ago, when the merchants would go to sell something to their household, it would be the person that gives the most. So dana means to give, selfless giving in Sanskrit. So the merchants, you would call the master of the house danna, the person that gives. Right. So if you're a wife and you're complaining about your husband in Japanese and you say, "Uchi no danna," you're actually saying that my giving person, my husband is a giving person. So, anyways, I think I went off topic here. Anyways, so hearing and listening. Okay, listening takes much more involvement. Funny thing is, and this has happened to all of us, we hear a lot of stuff, but our ears really perk up when we hear somebody talking negatively about us. In Japanese, they call this jigoku mimi. Jigoku means hell ears, right? I don't usually hear or I'm not listening. I may not listen to my wife, but I can it tunes in when she's complaining or saying something negative, or somebody says something negative about you. You tend to hear that better or listen to it. But anyways, those are two. So hearing, listening. Listening takes a little more cognitive. When we come to the temple, however, we're going to another deeper level. And this is what we call true listening. Okay. And this is when we listen from our hearts. When we come to the temple, we listen with our whole body. When we come to the temple, it's an experience. So when you come in, most of you realize, there's this beautiful setting here, but there's also the incense, the aroma of the incense, the sound of the chanting, the sound of the bell. All of this is listening. We're not listening with just our ears, but we're taking it all in through our whole being. And when we come here to remember our loved ones, the true listening is that we become one with our loved ones. Today, as we remember our loved ones in Shotsuki service, they are guiding us, reminding us that there is something more than just our everyday life, that there's something deeper in life. And today, as we gather to remember them, again, though that sense of feeling comes up as you remember all the good times or all the memories you had with your loved ones. And this is true listening. And so when the Buddha talks about listening, it's listening from the heart, not just the ears. And so when we listen to the Dharma, again, we receive it from the bottom of our hearts. When we listen to the teachings, the teachings that tell us the interdependence of all life, we receive it with our whole being. And so we gather here for this Shotsuki service, but at the same time, we also gather here for this Nirvana Day service, a time in which we listen to the teachings of the Buddha, and are reminded, as the Buddha said, that there is this oneness that exists. And so after his passing, he said, make my teachings your light and let yourself be the light to guide others. And so we acknowledge both our loved ones as well as the Buddha by placing our hands together in gratitude and reciting Namo Amida Butsu from the bottom of our hearts and reminding ourselves of our connectiveness to our loved ones and the Buddha. So if I can ask you again, please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma talk. Let us all try in the future to listen with our whole hearts. Now we will have the Gatha Seya. Would you all stand and turn to page 313?
Okay, just give me 2 seconds, Genevieve. Oh, Genevieve, wait, Genevieve. Give me 2 seconds. I have to share it for the people on Zoom. Sorry. So it's on the screen as well. Okay. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
This is the end of the service today. Thank you all for attending, pay respects, and for your loved ones, and for also commemorating the Nirvana Day service. There are a few coming events which you will see on the back of your program. And first of all, starting on Tuesday, we have Reverend Ikuta's lectures series. Starts on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. And the next Sunday will be regular service. 13th will be the Stevenson Buddhist Temple board meeting. And the 19th will be the Stevenson Buddhist Temple Fujinkai annual general meeting. So if you are interested, please attend. And then the 26th is our Stevenson Buddhist Temple AGM. So if you're interested, please join us. Okay, now this is the end of the service. So the Fujinkai ladies have prepared some refreshments in the lobby. So please remain and enjoy the tea. Thank you. Please pick up your